squared minus x minus 6 less than 0. So we're gonna treat it same as equal to 0. So we will factorize the side. Minus 3 and x plus 2 less than 0. So the solutions you got, it's either x equal to 3 or x equal to negative 2. This is if it is just equal, but because it's less than 0, so you have to figure out the interval. So here the solution is not a value, we said it's interval of numbers, different value, like a range of numbers. So here's the negative 2, that's the 3. So now to know the range of numbers, you will take the negative 2, take a smaller value than negative 2, let's say it's negative 3. We take a value between negative 2 and 3, which is 0. And we're going to take a value that's more than 3. And we're going to substitute those values in that equation. Take a calculator. So substitute negative 3 in here. We've got 9 minus negative 3. So plus 9 plus 3 minus 6. Obviously, it's a positive number. So the positive number is not less than 0. So because you've got, if you substitute negative 3, you got positive 6. If you substitute 0, you get negative 6. And if you substitute 4, you get 16 minus 4 minus 3. Yeah, you've got positive as well. So that's why the values between negative 3 and 3, that gives you a negative value, which is less than 0. So to satisfy this equation, so that's why the solution is x must be greater than negative 2, less than 3. So that's your solution for this equation here. The range of values, all the values between negative 3, negative 2, and 3. 3x squared plus 6x greater than or equal to, same, it's a quadratic equation, so we have to rearrange first to 0. So 3x squared plus 6x minus 2 greater than or equal to 0. Now you can use anything. You can use your quadratic formula, you can use your calculators, anything in here to solve it. So I'm gonna use the quadratic formula to solve it. So you can use the quadratic formula. So I'm just gonna write in here: x equal negative 6 plus minus square root of 36 minus 4 times 3 times negative 2 over 6. So x equal negative 6 positive negative, that's 160 over 6. I'm just going to use the calculator for this. So it's either x equal 0.29 or x equal negative 2.29. Now we want to find the range of values. These are not the two solutions. These are the solutions if we have equal in here, but because we have inequality, so we need to have the range of values. So I'm going to mark my negative 2.29 here, my positive 0.29. Then, as we said, we choose three numbers. One is smaller than that, which is negative 3. One in between, which is 0. One greater than that, which is 1. And then we substitute here and then give the value positive, negatives, or so if we substitute the 0 in here, we get a negative value because they're negative 2. So if we substitute the 0, we get negative 2. If we substitute the negative 3 in here, we get, I think it should be positive. Yeah, definitely positive. I don't know what's the value, but definitely it's positive. And if we substitute the 1 in here, yes, it's another positive. So you can see that any number that is less than negative 2.29 gives me a positive values of this equation. So the value of this equation will be greater than or equal to 0. So we want positive values. So that's why your final answer, or the range of values, x must be greater than, x must be less than, because that's the positive value and we're looking for a positive value, less than negative 2.29, and x must be greater than 0.29. So that's the values. They are between the x. So x is less than negative 2.29. So all these values give me positive, and x must be greater than 0.29 because that gives me all the positive values, and that's what we want, is the positive values in here. We can do one with completing the square. So now x squared plus 6x minus 10, less than or equal to 0, let's say. So this one here, this side, solving the equation itself is no difference than equal, but only finding the final solution or the range of values will be different. So I'm just going to treat this as 0. So I'm going to use completing the square. So we have it 3 divide by 3, divide by 2 is 3, squared is 9. So I'm going to add 9, subtract 9, take away 10, less than or equal to 0. So I'm going to factorize this using completing the square. Rearrange. Square root. So you can see I've got no different. Okay, so now we get this value here in the calculator, so we can put it on the line. Is it 19? Why do I have 9? Okay, square root of 19 minus 3, 1.3, so it's either x, just gonna make it here equal 1.36, and x equal negative 7.36. So now again, we're gonna put it on the line, negative 7.36 over here, positive 1.36. We find the 3 values in between. So we have 0 in between, negative 8, smaller than negative 7.36, and 2 greater than, and then substitute that in this equation, in that black one on the top. So we will have negative 8 squared is 64, plus 6 times negative 8 minus 10. It's give me positive 6, so that's a positive answer. The 0 gives me a negative answer, and the 2 should give me a positive answer as well. Okay, you don't even need the calculator for this. Okay, and now you can see I need the value here needs to be negative because we want less than or equal to 0. So I'm looking into this range of values in here. So my final set x must be greater than negative 7.36, greater than or equal, because you said equal 0, less than or equal 1.36, because negative 7.36 and 1.36 gives me the 0 value, so it gives me that equal, and the betweens gives me the negative, which is less than 6. So that's why we said greater than or equal x, less than or equal 1.36. I think in the previous one I forgot the equal, so it needs to be the equal in there.